Antonio Guterres, the Secretary-General of the United Nations, UN, has expressed terror after North Korea claimed to be on the brink of nuclear war. Guterres voiced his concerns while speaking to the General Assembly on the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons in New York City on Tuesday, September 26, News.com has learned. His statement came after Kim Song, North Korea's ambassador to the United Nations, told the Assembly, the Korean peninsula is in a hair-trigger situation with imminent danger of nuclear war, and claimed that this was the fault of South Korea's sycophantic and humiliating policy of depending on outside forces. Speaking to the General Assembly, the UN head called for an urgent push to reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons to end this madness, the Express reported. This is madness. We must reverse course, said Secretary-General Guterres. Guterres stated, the real only way to prevent the use of nuclear weapons is to eliminate them. Any use of a nuclear weapon anytime, anywhere, and in any context, would unleash a humanitarian catastrophe of epic proportions. This is not hyperbole. This is the timeless message of the Hibakusha, the survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. To them and to the world, I have pledged to do everything within my power to gather countries around the need to wipe these devices of destruction off the face of the earth. This is a matter of urgency. A worrisome new arms race is brewing. The number of nuclear weapons could rise for the first time in decades. Hard-won norms to prevent their use, spread and testing are being undermined. The global disarmament and non-proliferation architecture is eroding. Nuclear arsenals are being modernized to make these weapons faster, more accurate and stealthier. Nuclear sabers are again being rattled. The UN Secretary-General also showed the apparent path towards reversing the course, as he puts it. Guterres told the General Assembly that the first step toward ending this madness would be for nuclear weapon states to lead the way. I call on them to meet their disarmament obligations, and commit to never use nuclear weapons under any circumstances, Guterres said on Tuesday. The second step, according to the UN head, is to reinforce and recommit to the nuclear disarmament and nonproliferation regime built over the decades. He added that this includes the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. It is worth noting that last month, Secretary-General Guterres made yet another appeal to the key countries to ratify the 1996 Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which China and the US had signed but not ratified. This year, we face an alarming rise in global mistrust and division. At a time in which nearly 13,000 nuclear weapons are stockpiled around the world and countries are working to improve their accuracy, reach, and destructive power, this is a recipe for annihilation, Guterres said in his appeal, per CNN. Speaking to the Assembly on Tuesday, Guterres said regarding the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, though not yet in force, the treaty remains a powerful testament of humanity's will to lift the shadow of nuclear annihilation from our world, once and for all. In the name of all victims of nuclear testing, I call on all countries that have not yet ratified the treaty to do so without delay, and for those states that possess nuclear weapons to ensure a moratorium on all nuclear testing, he added. As for the third step toward preventing massive nuclear warfare, Guterres stressed the timeless tools of dialogue, diplomacy, and negotiation as the key. He also noted the threat artificial intelligence could potentially play in a nuclear apocalypse. This dialogue must extend to all categories of nuclear weapons, and it must address the increasing interplay between strategic and conventional weapons and the nexus between nuclear weapons and emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence. Concluding his statement, Guterres said, the world has spent too long under the shadow of nuclear weapons. Let's step back from the edge of disaster. Let's usher in a new era of peace for all people. Let's make history by consigning nuclear weapons to history. The UN Secretary-General's words came right on the heels of rising concerns regarding Russia, China, and the United States reportedly gearing up for nuclear tests. Recent evidence suggests that all three nuclear powers have built and expanded their nuclear test facilities, which have been seeing a lot of activity lately.